Hey everybody, happy Sunday. I'm here at my office in Tempe. I had to come in just to do a little bit of IT work. We have some new employees starting tomorrow, so I need to get caught up in doing some IT before the phones ring like crazy on a Monday morning. As you can see, I've got my Cardinals shirt on. Cardinals play in a couple hours. I'm a huge Cardinals fan. I love football. Played a little golf this morning, had breakfast with my family. Been here in the office for about an hour or two, and then back to watch the Cardinals game. But what I've been doing, and I've taken a couple weeks off just because I've been so busy at work, is I like to go through TMZ and our other news stations to find out what the big headlines are for celebrities and quasi-celebrities and athletes. We represent a lot of athletes. See what they're up to. See if they face any legal issues. I never wish anyone is facing a legal issue, and I hope you never have to hire me. But I find it more entertaining than posting some boring video online that most lawyers do about, oh, what do you do if you get pulled over for a DUI? What are your constitutional rights? Blah, 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 blah. Let's talk about something interesting, right? So I saw on TMZ this morning, and I'll give a shout out to TMZ. I'll put in the link. By the way, TMZ, if you ever want to interview me, Harvey, if you ever want to interview me, give me a call. I do a lot of celebrity cases. I do a lot of athlete cases, and I'm a huge TMZ fan, so more than happy to be on your show, more than happy to answer whatever questions. I know you're a lawyer too, but if you ever need my advice, I do own the largest exclusive criminal defense law firm in the state of Arizona. But I am looking at TMZ, and I see this officer, Tommy Norman, out of the Little Rock Police Department. He was arrested for allegedly assaulting his wife. Police responded. She accused him of hitting her. He was arrested, and I think he's on administrative leave. I don't know the details of it. I've never heard of Tommy Norman. I guess he does a lot of internet, YouTube and Instagram and TikTok videos about community outreach, which is cool. I'm a big fan of police officers, and I'm glad that he's getting involved. I don't know him. I've never watched one of his videos, but he must be Instagram or TikTok famous if it's on the first page or the front page of TMZ. So I hope everything works out for him. Again, I don't know the details of his case. I haven't seen the police report, but we do. We probably represent about 1,500 clients a year for various types of offenses, and some will be, really serious violent cases or drug cases. On the other end of the spectrum, people will hire us for smaller cases like criminal speeding. But just because the most common type of offense that we would see is DUI, next most common is going to be domestic violence, because I think those are the crimes that a majority of the people are committing or accused of committing. And that's the demographic that may hire an attorney. And like we do major drug cases, of course, very few people are charged with or commit an act of trafficking drugs across state lines, or some of the more serious stuff, a murder or whatever. So everyday people could get a DUI, everyday people could get a domestic violence. Officer Norman. So let me just tell you what would happen in the state of Arizona if you're arrested for domestic violence. So the police get called, your wife accuses you of hitting her or pushing her or whatever. Police get called, they arrive at the scene, they do their investigation. Then the bad news is somebody has to get arrested. Somebody has to go to jail. So whether the wife is accusing the husband or the husband's accusing the wife, somebody has to go to jail that night. And it sucks because maybe the neighbors call the police, maybe a bystander calls the police, whatever. Maybe that's just an argument between spouses. It's not even physical. Somebody calls the police, somebody gets arrested for domestic violence, and they get hauled off to jail. And so when somebody sees the judge at the initial appearance, and you have to have an initial appearance within 24 hours, the judge is going to establish some release conditions or order some release conditions, and they're going to be don't return to the scene. So if you live with your wife, you live with your girlfriend, you can't go back to living with her while the case is pending. No contact with the wife or the girlfriend. So it's a headache, right? You can't return to the scene. That means you got to get an apartment, you got to get a Verbo, a Airbnb, stay in a hotel, whatever, during the 3 or 4 month or 5 month, sometimes even 6 month process of going through the court proceedings. And so it's expensive, it's a hassle. Figuring out how to see your kids is an issue. And then probably if we represent 10 clients for domestic violence, 9 out of 10 have a wife or a husband that call, whoever the alleged victim is, and they say, hey, I don't want them to be prosecuted, I don't want them to go to jail, I don't want them to be charged anymore, I want all charges dropped. Well, what I tell everyone is, I get that, but 99% of the time that's what people want, and the courts will not drop a case just because the victim no longer wants to aid in prosecution or wants the charges dismissed. Reason being, if the courts were to do that and case gets dismissed, fast forward 1 week or 2 weeks, Come to find out, you open the homepage of whatever your news station is, and husband kills wife or wife kills husband after a domestic violence just 2 weeks ago, then the court's going to look bad, so they won't do it. So once somebody's called for domestic violence, once the neighbors are called, once the police respond to domestic violence, somebody gets arrested, the courts are going to see through that domestic violence charge, and it's just a headache. So you got to hire a lawyer. We got to try to get this thing dismissed. If I can get it completely dismissed, great. If I can get it dismissed through some form of like diversion program where you do some community service or some counseling, we can do that too. But because we do so many of these cases, we know exactly what it is that we're doing and how to properly handle them. I've been doing this since 2010. Again, we represent more clients for criminal offenses than any other law firm in the state of Arizona. In domestic violence, it's not always a punch or a slap or physical. Domestic violence is a designation to an offense. So, I could assault somebody. So somebody could push their husband. Domestic violence, assault, right? Assault, domestic violence. And we get it all the time. Oh, husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend are getting in a fight. Boyfriend punches a hole in the wall. That's criminal damage, domestic violence. It doesn't matter if you own the house, doesn't matter if it's your apartment, whatever. If you damage something during a dispute with your husband or wife or girlfriend or roommate, that's domestic violence. Even what we get all the time, two people yelling, neighbors call the cops, disorderly conduct, domestic violence. So there's so many ways you can get a domestic violence. It's not always the traditional slap or punch or push. In fact, that's probably the very few amount of our cases. Everything else falls in that criminal damage. Punch the wall, slam a cell phone, smack a car, whatever, domestic violence. Yelling outside of a club, yelling at your apartment, yelling in front of your kids, domestic violence. So don't even go there, just walk away. Anybody who's been in a relationship knows that it can be stressful. Everyone gets in arguments, but police get called, it's bad news. Officer Norman out of the Little Rock Police Department, I wish you and your wife well. Hope everything gets worked out. And so, you're probably smart about it. The police union has an attorney for you. And you've been doing this for a long time. I think you've been on the force for like 25 years. So it's important to hire a lawyer. When you get charged with these things, you got to hire a lawyer, guys. I've done thousands of these cases, and would you rather go with a professional who's done thousands, or try to represent yourself and it goes sideways and it turns out to be a mess? So if you have any comments, comment below. Subscribe to my channel. I'm always looking for new things to post about, so give me some topics. Again, my name is Matt Lopez. I'm the owner of a 10-lawyer law firm out of Phoenix, Arizona. It's Matthew Lopez Law. And we appreciate you watching this video. Go Cardinals. Have a wonderful Sunday with your family. And I'm going to continue looking online to see what I can post for Monday. I'm trying to stay away from it's been a stressful week in our country with Charlie Kirk and all. I'm not posting any of that. I don't like to post any stuff like that. But if I see athletes or celebrities or local people that's interesting get arrested, I'll mention something about that on YouTube. But I'm always looking for discussions. I'm always looking for topics or ideas. And again, Harvey, if you see this and you're from TMZ and you want somebody to chime in, or you want somebody that from Phoenix or the Phoenix Metro, because a lot of people come here to vacation, especially when the weather's nice, give me a call, 602-980-1987.